One thing you must keep in mind about running asshole game, and guys forget this all the time, as fun and natural as it may be, you always need to calibrate it to the girl and the situation in front of you. And Hartis goes into this at some extent because, again, one of the most common things with guys when they start learning how to run asshole game is they kind of like over game a girl and push her away. You only do it once or twice, but then you realize when it comes to asshole game, you have to kind of calibrate the girl in the beginning, and it's always better to slightly go over or higher and then tab it back. If she's like super feminine, super easygoing, super nice, you need to start drawing it back. She's not going to need as much. If she's kind of hard, kind of experienced, kind of skeptical, you can show up with a lot of asshole and she's going to engage you. But you don't back it off at all. You may even amp it up even more, be the biggest asshole she's ever met. That's fine. But again, it's much harder to start low and go up because it throws women off for whatever reason. I don't know the exact, why. But one thing you have to know is in almost all game, you have to calibrate. And that's where we say, guys have bad experiences because they did not calibrate it to the girl and the situation in front of you. And there's even sometimes, and I remember reading a couple articles from Chateau where he said, is there a time that you don't run game? And there are certain situations that you'll have single girls, but they might not be like in your clique or in your social circle, or they're in a social circle that you're not to interact with. One thing that's always been understood between players and extremely religious girls is to give each other a wide berth. We can't use a girl that is waiting, till marriage for sex, and she's like, it's not going to happen. And she doesn't need the reputation of going out with some player. She's going to avoid you. We avoid them. It's kind of a mutual understanding. So there are times that you have to calibrate the girl in front of you and the situation and who's around. You can't be too forward when there's a lot of her family or friends around. And it's something you always have to take into account. But one thing you need to keep in mind in running asshole game, especially, is calibrate it. And you get better and better. The more women you deal with, the harder, you go, God, this girl's kind of a bitch. And she's going to need more. The younger, the hotter, the more, social media she follows, the more, what would you say, disassociated she is, the more you're going to have to hammer it, as opposed to a more feminine, easygoing girl that's open to your advances. You can kind of like bring it down. Not too much, just bring it down. Girls still find it exciting and interesting. Even the best wholesome girls will find asshole game to be very interesting, and it gives them that tingle that they'll start chasing you around. So that's the real deal. One thing you must keep in mind about running asshole game, as fun and natural as it may be, you always need to calibrate it to the girl and the situation in front of you. And game is solidly over time, you learn you must calibrate it to the girl in front of you, and you'll do better. And they appreciate it more. Again, like she's married and her husband's in the vicinity, that's not the time to go hard. You just have to like be careful and know your audience and be smart about it. Something that's